Alrighty.
So, guys, welcome back to the channel, getting you on the grind and improving your mind every single video and live stream that we do. Make sure you give us a thumbs up, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Today, we're going to be talking about relatively good news. The only thing that the government has actually done in my recent memory that's good for mankind. Mike, we're going to pull up this
Yeah,
article right now.
I'm gonna go pull it up right now as Andrew continues to speak about it.
Yeah, so the red dye 40, basically that's in a lot of your cereals, a lot of the stuff that you feed your kids constantly. They finally banned it. Now I'm pretty sure companies still have like a year or two to still get rid of this ingredient from their products. Basically, this is a very bad ingredient. It should never have been in our foods in the first place. If you compare it to some of the foods that is in the US and you compare it to like somewhere like Great Britain, they don't have the same crappy ingredients in their foods that we do in our processed foods because America just likes to destroy its citizens, not give us any money, and completely cripple us financially compared to Ukraine. But anyway, but the thing is that we're basically suffering, and in our food is containing so many ingredients that a lot of you don't even realize that you consume on a daily basis.
Yeah, apparently this red dye shit is pretty much in almost every single product that you can find. Probably anything other than a lot of the foods that you can find at like stores like Whole Foods or those like very uber organic type of places. Like you'll probably maybe find 2% of the stuff that they carry might have it, where most of the common stores, maybe like Walmart's, stuff like that, a lot of those types of grocery stores, like 99% of them will carry red dye No.3, No.40, whatever, all those different ones, and these ones are now finally getting banned.
It's about
So
time.
yeah, so I pulled up from the FDA site, specifically FDA to revoke authorization for use of red No.3 in food and ingested drugs. And so this came up on the 15th. Today's what, the 17th? So that was a couple days ago.
Yeah, we wanted to speak on this because it basically follows, what we talk about. Basically, looking out for ingredients in the foods that you eat every day. A lot of you guys don't realize that the reason that you feel like crap mostly every day is because of the stuff you constantly shove in your system. All these foods, especially at the end of the aisles and the edges of all the aisles at the average grocery store, maybe ShopRite or Walmart, wherever you shop, it doesn't matter. These foods are pretty much poison. All the cereals that you see, all the breads and the pastas and all these sugary products, all these ultra processed foods, not whole foods. These are the things that literally make you feel horrible every day. That's why you're not making progress. That's why you always have headaches. You always have stomach aches. You're always feeling nauseous. You're getting, stomach aches. You call out of work and it ruins your entire mood for the entire day. Probably even lowers your libido. Would not be surprised. I'm sure there's plenty of evidence to possibly support that. But basically, the garbage you're consuming is affecting you and your energy throughout the day, which is also affecting everything that you come across because you feel like crap because of what you eat, and it spreads like a fire. So basically, actually, go on.
Yeah, so I'm going to read a little bit of what it says here on the top of this article. So it says FDA is revoking the authorization for the use of FD&C red No.3 as a matter of law based on the Delaney Clause of the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. The FDA is amending its color additive regulations to no longer allow for the use of red No.3 in food ingested and ingested drugs in response to a 2022 color additive petition. The petition was requested the agency to review whether the Delaney Clause applied and cited, among other data and information, to studies that showed cancer in laboratory male rats exposed to high levels of the red No.3 due to a rat-specific hormonal mechanism. The exposure levels for humans are typically much lower than those that cause the effects shown in male rats. Studies in other animals and in humans did not show these effects, but they also it doesn't show it on this page right here. I would have to probably scroll, but pretty much what it does is over time it causes cancer in the rats and also in humans. But it's pretty much an overtime thing. I have to go run over there and scroll, but I'm not going to go do that right now. But they say in there that it's like the companies that produce and create these foods, I think they have until 2027, to like I think January 1st, 2027, to not have it in any foods whatsoever. So anything that's on the shelves, anything like anything that they've produced, like cannot have it whatsoever. as of 2027. So they have from pretty much 2 days ago until January 1st to ensure that they do not use that food dye, and they don't have any products that were shipped out that have that as well.
None of the foods that we eat ever should have ever had this ingredient anyway. It's just pure poison. And the fact that they have gotten away with this for so long is extremely unsettling. You
Yeah,
feed it to your kids unknowingly. You don't even realize
you
that
even feed it to yourself when you get sick. You get those cough drops. Those
right.
I don't
Yep.
even remember the specific kind, but a lot of those cherry cough drops will have that food dye in there. They'll have that dye No.3 or No.40. That's how they get that red coloring.
You just don't want to consume these foods, and you got to be really careful. That's what I say. No matter what you're consuming, you should always be looking at the ingredient label and see what you're actually consuming, because it's like you'd really never know until you know. And a lot of you guys, you're always stressed out. A lot of you guys have high cortisol levels and you're constantly stressed out. So even though life is giving you a hard time, you don't even think about checking the ingredients on your favorite foods because you're so stressed out. You just want to pleasure yourself in any way, shape, or form and eat whatever. And that is not the way to go. There's a whole bunch of things that piles on that, but you really need to be mindful of what you're consuming. And now this is just one thing that's getting banned out of many things that really should be banned in this
Oh yeah.
country, because we are one of the sickest nations ever right now. I would
We have
say.
the highest rate of what is it pretty much people paying for uh pretty much paying for hospital bills. The amount of money that goes into paying for these specific diseases and stuff that
Right.
we give to our own to give to ourselves because that we eat food like this. We consume these things and unknowingly, because a lot of people out there, like, you have to do a lot of research to really find a lot of this stuff out. And because not a lot of the people that create them, they don't really want people to know what they do, and some of them don't even know what the long-term effects are. They just kind of want to use it because it's cheap and it's making people want to buy more, and they don't understand why, but they don't care because they're making money. And that's not the way to really run a business. That's not really a way to feed your community, in a sense, because you got to have those people alive to have them buy more of your food, right? That just makes sense. And what I'm afraid of, and it just kind of dawned on me as you were just talking just before, that this red dye is used in a lot of different things, and I know, and I don't know who, I don't know what farm, I don't know who it is, or even a specific brand of shopping thing, but I know that um, there's someone out there, some store or some farm that grinds meat and puts in something to keep it red.
Mm.
That way it looks fresh all the time, because ground meat, it will turn very quickly. If it's natural, if it's grass-fed, specifically grass-fed, grass-finished, organic, that ground meat will turn brown very quickly because the meat is dead. Like, it's dead, it's not alive. And so the meat will go from a red to a brown probably in a few hours, maybe not even a few hours, right? But a lot of companies that want to keep meat on the shelves, that want to make sure that the meat is always looking fresh on the shelves, they might be putting that in there. And I don't know. I'm throwing it out there because it's making me think about that, because meat, a lot of, especially beef, has to look red
Mm.
to look fresh. A lot of people, and I see it all the time. People don't want to. When I go and try to order ground meat at the store, someone in front of me goes, "Oh, can I have that 90% meat? But can you make sure that there's no brown in the middle?" But like, the brown is supposed to be like, that's technically it just turning naturally, but people don't want it because they don't like the way it looks.
Mm.
But like, and so I think what stores or farms or whatever, they might know that, and they inject the meat with this coloring, most likely. So you got to be careful, and luckily it's going away now, so we don't really have to worry about it as much going forward. But this could be a possibility if people were trying to be good and trying to eat meat and trying to do the right thing, but they were going to cheaper stores trying to
Mm.
get cheaper food, and they're suffering for it.
Right. Yeah, it really is a reminder to just be on the lookout of what you're actually consuming. And this is just one ingredient out of many that we still got to get rid of, and there's still an epidemic on our hands. So the best thing you could do knowing this right now is start making healthier choices right now and start thinking about what you're actually buying at the grocery store and start feeding your families and yourselves a little bit better from now on, and really start to watch out for these kind of things, because it is true. There's a lot of things that are being kept from your knowledge by forces that you don't even know about, to keep you weak, to keep you sick, pretty much, so that you can constantly be feeding into big pharma, which is a big problem. Like every time the more I think about all this healthcare stuff, the more I start to support Luigi. Like it's getting to that. I don't want to support this guy. I don't know, but you know what? I'm
Luigi.
Yeah. And then the more I think about it, you know what I mean. I don't condone violence, of course,
No,
obviously not.
absolutely
But
not.
I do. There does need to be a penalty for these healthcare systems and the forces in the government that are keeping us weak. And you guys need to start from the bottom and start making healthier choices for yourself.
Yeah, that's why we got to hope that RFK Jr. gets into becoming the head of head of health,
Secretary of Health, yeah,
Secretary of Health. Because at least with that, because if you have ever seen him, he looks jacked.
Yeah.
And he knows a lot of this stuff. So I don't understand why someone would want to not want him in there, unless if they're specifically trying to keep the engine that is big.
Something needs to change. Something definitely needs to change, because obviously, if you go out anywhere in public, everybody's just fat. So unless you're at a gym, then they're trying not to be fat. So respect to those people. But other than that, most of the time, it's just things are just not looking good out here. So let us know what you guys think in the comments section, and let us know about what you're going to do to take action with this information that you just learned. Any other thoughts?
Yeah, no, definitely make sure you actually do some research on your foods from this point going forward. I say definitely keep an eye out on a lot of these things that the FDA are putting out right now, because I know that they're probably very scared about RFK coming in, and so I feel like this was like a preemptive thing before he possibly goes in. That way, it's not going to be as too big of a shake up. But I'm just hoping that, or maybe they're just trying to look good, to be like, oh no, we're doing the right thing, and RFK is going to go in there and slaughter a lot of the stuff that's not good for us, which is going to be great.
Yeah.
But we'll keep an eye on that for you guys. So anytime that there's an update like this, we'll most likely either do a live stream or we'll do a video talking about that specific topic. So definitely keep an eye out for that, and definitely let us know if you have heard of this before, and if you are going to do any changes based on learning this new stuff. So definitely let us know, guys.
Yeah, guys. See you next time.